you after dark. Bass echo in the tunnels. Vatos locos. You already know. LolCow vatos loco, come chill with the crew. Couple wild cholos, yeah, we breaking the rules. Down in the crypt where the echoes all boom. Trying through the LCU, make a legend real soon. Make a legend real soon, make a legend real soon, make a legend real soon. LolCow vatos locos, candle low, lights dim. Laughing at the world while the walls cave in. From the shadows to the stage, yeah, we all break through. Crypt door slam, screaming LCU. Posted in the crypt where the air stay cold. Concrete dreams and the stories get bold. Graffiti on the walls, time stuck on pause. Laugh track bouncing off the outlaw laws. TechProtect with the circus on lock. Brain wild like a glitch in the block. Talking big plans, scheming real loud. Laugh now, cry, let the whole room go proud. P.O. rolling in, calm but sharp. Eyes like a spark in the middle of dark. Every word land heavy, every bar got weight. Underground kings, yeah, we tempting fate. LolCow vatos loco, come chill with the crew. Couple wild cholos, yeah, we breaking the rules. Down in the crypt where the echoes all boom. Tryna throw the LCU, make a legend real soon. LolCow vatos locos. Shadows on the wall from the jokes to the chaos. Yeah, we love it all. Hands up, fists high, screaming who's who. Whole crypt chanting back LCU. Late night laughter, echo chamber vibes. Memes turn myth when the moment arrives. They said we fade, we just multiply. Turn side Alex into battle cries. Crypt so loud with the bassline hum. Old school soul with the snap of a drum. Culture stitched in a rhyme and a tone. Brown pride pulse in the mirror and bone. No gold chains, but the weight still heavy. Truth in the jokes, yeah, the edge stay ready. From throwaway laughs to a flag we flew. Turn old in the legend as LCU. Candles flicker, walls breathe. Hold the ground move when the beat hit freeze. Laugh through the madness, dance with the doom. Every step echo boom, boom, boom. LolCow vatos loco, come chill with the crew. Couple wild cholos, yeah, we breaking the rules. Down in the crypt where the echoes all boom. Tryna throw the LCU, make a legend real soon. Make a legend real soon, make a legend real soon, make a legend real soon. LolCow vatos loco. Stay raw from the crypt to the cloud, breaking every law. Say it real loud if you know it's true. Vatos loco forever. LCU. TechProtect. P.O. And LolCow Crypt. Certified. LCU till the lights go out. Ha.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Jaffe, welcome in. Let's get that scene transitioned over. Boom. That's Jaffe. I don't know why I keep showing ads on Discord here. Let me get this fucking big like this and do this thing.
Why don't you roll on over to the set, Tech?
We have no producer again, so I have to be back here. What
Did you lose them in a fight?
Yeah. How's your morning going, Jaffe?
Good, just getting up, took the dogs out, fed the dogs, trying to see what happened to the live chat. It just vanished from my image here. But it's good. How you feeling?
I'm tired.
Yeah, but how's your back?
Not the best, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but did you take any meds or anything or what?
I took those natural meds, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't. What, you took pot?
Yeah.
Or alcohol?
Well, both.
Good Lord, Tech. Come on now.
Yeah. Dealt with it.
Okay.
Now, waking up a little sore, but you know how it is.
So I want to know, my number one question besides, Sarah needs to call me when she wakes up is, well, there's a lot of things, but the first is, so if people don't know, why don't you tell people what happened if they don't know? Give them a quick recap, because we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then I want to tell you there are not brand new, but somebody put out a list today, the most terrifying theories about what happens when we die. So we know we're going to get into that, but we'll talk about the fight for a little bit, because I assume a lot of people want to talk about the fight. So we'll get to that. Go ahead there, Tech. Hit us up with what happened first.
Why don't you talk about the fight? You're an observer.
Well, I was an observer. I mean, you and Nightmare were upset with each other. your mileage will vary depending on who you ask as to why that happened. I don't honestly care. Um, but and the last I heard on yesterday's crypt, Keemstar had seemed to be warming up to the idea that actually had come from one of our audience suggestions, which I thought was very clever, which is you guys go off and get sumo suits and wrestle on the island, and the first one to knock the other one in the water. And so I kind of assumed that's what was going to happen. So I'm at the vet. M's with me. We're taking Ace to the vet yesterday. And I'm sitting on my phone waiting for x-rays to come back. And I'm like, holy shit, M, look at this. They're actually fighting. And we're both like, where are the sumo suits? So that's first off my confusion. What was agreed to? Because there were no sumo suits, but you also weren't punching, but it wasn't really wrestling. So what the fuck was what kind of fight was it?
Yeah, the rules were kind of like laid out beforehand. There is only shoving. Try to use your shoulders as much as possible. Don't try and get your hands involved. If one person goes down, let them get up. And a lot of the stuff that was on the list of things to do just wasn't happening. But it's fine. It is what it is.
Well, it did seem like it. I mean, there was no punching, thank God. Right? I mean, what else? What are you? I'm assuming what you're saying there is Nightmare played cheap.
Who's to say? I don't think they went over. I have no idea what the beginning of that show was on the other side, not on the
You guys
island.
were standing. You hadn't started yet, as far as we can tell, and you were standing across from each other. And I think it was Steak who was officiating or whatever was the referee.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I don't know. And so that's where it began. So I don't know if there was something that came before that. I mean, there was video before that, but that's when I jumped in and watched.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, first the question is, do you want to talk about this thing at all? Because it seems like you don't want to talk about it.
Not really. I'm too tired if I can deal with anything today.
Oh, was that Twiggy?
Yeah, we're not letting Twiggy in. Twiggy, you're not pulled up.
Hey, Twiggy. I would always let you in, Twiggy. I'm not running OBS. I don't know. Well, you seem in a crankpot O'Malley mood, which I guess I would get because
I'm in pain and I want to go to sleep. But we have crypt to do.
Well, go.
So
I'll do the show. Just go wait. Go bed. Come back in 2 hours.
You're joking. Are you good to do 2 hours of crypt?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any topics, but you're in pain. I'll talk to the chat. I'll surf the internet. We'll have fun. Let me just drink something real quick.
I'll be here at the producer table. I'll make you big and everything.
Wow. Okay, so but if you're at the producer table and people come in and they want to talk, bring them in. I don't mind talking to Twiggy. Let me get a couple of these super chats, then we'll kind of wing it, fellas and filettis. First off, I can't get them all because I don't have the thing, but I'll do my best. I'll have to read them when they come in. So, hang on. God damn it!
Here you go. They're on the screen for my camera. You should be able to see it, I think.
Mm-hmm. I don't see your camera. All I see is my camera.
Oh, maybe fix that. Here we go. Pokegaga, $5 says, Tech, is your back good? Take some cojones to get handled live on air, but the important thing is that you didn't get injured further. Also, get good, noob. True. Corvo says, he's really pulley-oly. He's a small, smart, and round. Then Full Metal with $10 says, Tech, my guy, not saying it's a reason, but stop with the freaking alcohol. Also, happy weekend, Jaffe.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, the alcohol with Tech is a problem. I don't know if it's a problem like at an alcoholic level. It might be, but certainly, but again, nobody trained for that fight yesterday, right? So, and everybody knew, I mean, look, okay, let's talk about Tech like he's not here because he's behind the scenes. He's hopefully putting his head down, getting a little bit of a nap when he can. But, it sucks to know that you are at the mercy of the physical world, because I think, Tech clearly in his heart and soul and mind thought he would be able, when the moment arrived, to will himself to a victory. But it's like Tyson says famously, everyone's got a plan until they get a punch in the face. And even though he didn't get a punch in the face, I think the minute your cardio goes, kind of like just like Wings and I were saying, the minute your cardio goes, you don't have your animal brain kicks in and you're not sitting there thinking about all that shit. That's why I love boxing movies like Rocky and Creed and shit. But it's so funny when you see him get knocked down and then it's like, come on, man. I mean, you get knocked down, the fight's almost certainly over. I don't know. Wings could probably tell you, but I don't know what the percentage is. But when someone gets knocked down, my guess is a comeback at that point is relatively rare, like maybe 10%. I'm not making excuses, Lori, for him. I'm in the chat. I'm saying that I understand how after you've had that mental, expectation of what you could will your body to do, and then you ultimately end up like Tech ended up, there's a processing aspect that happens. Wait a minute. I saw Chuck Norris, speaking of people fighting, Chuck Norris was in the hospital yesterday. Did he die? I'm going to get a confirmation on this before we talk about it. Yeah. I am not I'm not a not Chuck Norris fan, but I'm not one of these guys that lost my shit over him back in the day, but he is dead. He died at 86 years old. I was in one of his movies, Invasion USA. Chuck Norris is with heavy hearts that our family shares the sudden passing of our beloved Chuck Norris. Oh, man. We would like to keep the circumstances private. My understanding, I don't know if there's any rumors yet as to what happened. My understanding is he was fine 24 hours before he wasn't fine. It wasn't like he was dealing with a cancer or anything, and he was working out and he was joking, and and then suddenly they had to rush him to the hospital. So it could have been an aneurysm or a heart attack. I have no idea. But yeah, the post reads, he lived with faith, purpose, and unwavering commitment to the people he loved. I mean, this is an interesting one because Chuck Norris, not only was, he was the epitome of health, but he was a guy that was so memeified because nothing can beat Chuck Norris. And isn't that interesting? Even though everybody knew he was human, and of course the guy was going to die like almost everyone else, here's a guy that I think the memes kind of got to a point with people that even though it's like, yeah, you get shaken out of that and go, yeah, of course he can die. But in some ways you kind of never expected the guy to die, right? You expected him to kill death almost. But yeah, he's out. He tapped out. Norris is best remembered for martial arts and action movies, and of course, Walker, Texas Ranger. At which point, if I could share my screen, I would share the world's greatest clip ever of Walker, Texas Ranger, which is with the kid from The Sixth Sense. So if Tech is awake and he wants to put that up, he can put that up. If you haven't seen it, I can't imagine you're on this earth in 2026 and you have not seen it. Yeah, Chuck Norris didn't die, says M4. He's just the world's greatest sleeper. You may be the loser, Tech, but you brought the content, says Slinky Dinky Doo. Yeah, it was good content. I mean, and look, man, I mean, like I said, if we go back to the fight for a minute, I don't know. I mean, what is there to say about that fight? That people haven't already said that you didn't see with your own goddamn eyes. I mean, I'm fascinated. I want to know what my daughter thought, right? I mean, the funny thing is when we were watching it on a cracked iPhone at the vet. So once Tech went down and I didn't know there was a medic or whoever that girl was, people have been using medic like in quotes, air quotes. I don't know what her qualifications were, but that's what she was doing in that context. And, from our phone, we thought it was our kid. We thought it was Sarah. And then suddenly I see Sarah riding around on one of those big wheels in the lake. And I'm like, okay, what the hell was Sarah doing? But I would be curious what her take is. Was she mad? Like my ex, her mom was like, I bet Sarah's mad. And I said, why? And she's like, because she's probably like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? But then again, I was like, I don't know if she's mad. I don't know if she's just, I don't know what her response is. Pavlo says a boyfriend should be able to protect their girlfriend in my eyes. Well, okay, Tech can protect. Look, so what you're saying in your eyes is the only people who are qualified to have girlfriends are guys that can beat everyone else up. At which point, what does that even mean? There's only one guy on the planet then with a girlfriend. You're not going to be able to win every fight you're in, and not getting into a fight because you're afraid you'll lose is kind of cowardly. So it sucks to lose, but at least he showed up, you know? But well, okay. So, Never says I'd be hella embarrassed after all that shit he talked. Okay. Yeah. But what are you going to do before you go into a fight? I mean, there are those people that go into fights. Like you see the MMA women a lot of times, like that famous clip that she didn't talk shit at all and she kicked the shit out of the other woman. But that's what you do. It's not like stoic camp. It's fat camp, So I don't know. Yes, it was not a good look for Tech, but he showed up. It's more than most you guys would do. He fucking showed up. And he wasn't defending Sarah. That's different. Trust me. If Sarah needed defending, I'm sure there would be more, fuel in the tank, and I would be there, and I'd send people there who are trained like Liam Neeson. It would be fine.
Or Chuck Norris.
What's that?
Or Chuck Norris.
Well, that was the problem. Yeah, Nightmare killed him on the way to protect Tech and Sarah. Okay. I think the bigger issue was Tech getting so drunk, acting like a badass. He was going to completely destroy Nightmare, but when it came to it, he couldn't stay on his 2 feet. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He said he was defending her name. I'm pretty sure he didn't. And when I talked to Nightmare yesterday, Nightmare was like, I didn't say anything. The only thing Nightmare said that he said to Sarah was, or to Tech was, I want to beat your ass in front of your girlfriend or something, but he wasn't talking bad about my child. What do I think about Boogie? Well, my kid behind the camera, my understanding is what he shot
Boogie with a paintball gun in the lip.
In his lip.
And it busted.
And then didn't Boogie said he had HPV or something?
Yeah, and then spit blood onto Mike.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have HPV, but he might. You never fucking know with that goddamn guy. I'm assuming he's fine. Did he need stitches? Did the medic give him stitches, or he's okay?
No, I don't know. My show was right after, and then I went to bed immediately after that.
Yeah. Mawiwi says if Tech really thinks Nightmare is playing dirty, he should tell us about it. Well, yeah, but Tech's not in the headspace right now. He's, give the guy a break. He's very sore. His back is killing him. He's recovering from a loss, both emotionally and physically. He'll be fine. I mean, again, the thing is, look, let's get the elephant out of the way. I mean, it was funny if we weren't in the fight. It was embarrassing for Tech. It was goofy as all get out. Somebody in the Discord put a picture of one of the Teletubbies rolling around on the ground from Teletubby Land, and it was hilarious. But the guy did show up, and not everybody wins every fight. I've only been in 3 fights and I've won them all, but most you fight enough, you're going to lose a few times. And it's probably more than a lot of you goddamn yoo-hoos out there. Don't write checks you can't cash. No, absolutely. When it comes to fights, you got to write. What are you saying? You're going to get in a fight only with the people. It's like Jack Reacher. The only person I've ever seen get in a fight that never loses is Jack fucking Reacher. And he's written that way. Really, Jeff, he's not real. And he's not real. He's Jack Reacher. He's the best, coolest fighter ever. On one hand, yes, we should be able to make fun of Tech. It was very goofy for him. It was embarrassing for him. But underneath all of that, he also showed the fuck up. And he tried. And that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. You know what? There was this girl I had a crush on a long time ago. Because these days with the Zoloft, what's a crush? She told me a story where she got her ass kicked in a fight. I thought that was kind of hot. Does that make me a weirdo? Probably. There's a lot of things that make you a weirdo. I know. Let's eat noodles. Hey, it's a K-pop demon in there. The point is this, boys. Point is this. Tech showed up. H Styles says, "Rip Chuck Norris. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it, buddy." Slinky Nicky Doo says, "Only one person can win a fight. And that's Jesus." I added the Jesus part. Should have used a bat. Yeah, maybe. Says Red Sheets Metal. Thank you, buddy. Maybe more like 3 a.m. walks. Yep. Yeet says, hey, look, man, I think Tech's a solid guy. He just needs to curb the drinking for his health and future relationships. Oh, I agree. I'm sure he knows that. I agree, but yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah, okay, there we go. There's some super chats there. Okay. But yeah, Chuck Norris. I was in hey, Stick, I'm gonna ban you if you say that again. I don't mind you taking the shit out of me. I will absolutely not. Like, I'll quit the LCU in 5 seconds. I will not fucking tolerate transphobia, buddy. So, Anna G, if you're watching, and I appreciate it if you are, thank you for your super chat, Stick, but let's kick his ass out of here. Thank you, bud. Thanks, Miss Anna. You keep saying he showed up. He demanded the fight. He wrote a check his ass couldn't cash, says Kelly. I know, but he still showed up. I'm not saying that it wasn't, he didn't instigate it. I'm not saying that you don't, have some secondhand joy because he instigated it and ended up losing. But at the same time, I'm just saying, he showed up. What do you want from me? But it was funny. Yeah, it's the overconfidence that gets me, says Colt. Oh, to have the confidence of a middle-aged white man. I understand. That's a good point. Wait, Tech said he had MMA training, says Lori. I don't think he ever said he had MMA training. I mean, knowing Tech, he probably did. But I've never heard him say he had MMA training, but it's very, I could see Tech saying, I was in Homeland Security and I trained with the Krav Maga, the creator of Krav Maga, which is the Israeli Defense Force martial arts, right? Which is really fucking hard. Casey says he was in socks and he was on the grass. Weren't they both in socks on the grass? If you do a shit job at work, the boss doesn't say, well, at least you showed up. Well, that's not necessarily true in the sense that if you try, a good boss will say, look, more companies than not need to appreciate the value of failure. Now, if you are hiring someone as a fighter and that's what they did, you'd say, okay, well, I do appreciate you showing up, but we're not going to keep paying you as a fighter. Maybe there's other things you can do for us. Danny says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard did you laugh watching Tech roll around? I mean, I both felt for Tech and I thought it was hilarious. But but again, lean into the embarrassment. If you're Tech right now, you've got to be so embarrassed. But at the same time, I mean, again, you guys, man, I mean, what do you want? It's, look, me and Wings were both saying that Nightmare was in better shape than he was. And I think me and Wings were correct in that Tech had about 10 seconds. Now, there was one point where Tech got up the last time, and it was like, that was his best little moment, where it was like, okay, he's staying up. But honestly, I did not know what the rule set was. Like, were you trying to push the other guy in the water? At which point they were both way too fucking way away from the water. And anybody thinks they know what they could have done different. Like, I'm watching it going, why did Tech make the first move? If I was Tech, I would have waited to see a lunge by Nightmare and then maybe tried to drop a little bit and get him in the leg so he would trip. Now, again, it's easy to say that when you're watching the fight from the sidelines, but I don't know why Tech was the one. Like, in a fight, I wonder why anyone is the one that punches first, unless he didn't even punch. Like, if it's a punch, maybe you think I'm going to knock him out right away and it's over. But in this case, when it's shoving, I don't know what the value is of going first. Tech, if you're still awake, why did you choose to push first? You may not be awake. The bro that survived, thank you for the super chat. He says, Jaffe, we can appreciate you want to be fair to your friend. The thing is, Tech is constantly an egotist, and this is the biggest ego check he could have gotten after talking all the shit. Hope he learns. Well, Well, I'll get to that in a second. K-Nubs, thank you for the super chat. Failed Tech has into exile, he must go. Okay, Yoda. Tech was pushed to his limit, says Slinky Dinky Doo. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah. Okay, the bro that survived. I absolutely get that Tech is a blowhard loudmouth when he's on camera, and it's a lot of fun to see that kind of character get their comeuppance. I get it. I value it. I enjoy it. Yeah, no, I totally get it. But I mean, so that's fair. I mean, that's not an unfair thing to say as entertainment content goes, which is, Tech lately for a lot of people has been the bad guy. And whether that's justified or not depends on the show and depends on the situation. But in this case, I think it was a moment for a lot of people to cathartically go, finally somebody shut that, bloviating, braggadocious guy up. I get it. But I don't hope he learned his lesson. I think that's what makes Tech fun, as long as he's not, lying to people in real life. But I hear you, bro, that survived. You have a point. I love how 96% says X-rated attraction of these keyboard warriors think they could do anything. I mean, think about that. You have a good point too. When you are vicariously living, or you are on the sidelines judging people in the LCU, it's like, of course you're better than people in the LCU. It's not a high bar, boys. It's like watching Jerry Springer and going, can you believe their life is fucked up? Yeah, because they're on Jerry Springer, you moron. Of course. Tech fight was so bad, says Red Sheets Metal, it killed Chuck Norris. Yeah, I know. Everybody's going to come picketing Tech now. I understand. Hardcore says, I understand spinal injuries well. It could very well be a valid reason to lose a fight. No, I mean, he does have a bad back. He's had a lot of crap go on with his body. Thank you so much, Kayla. I feel bad Tech had such positive momentum with Sarah after the engagement and tarnished it. You know what? I haven't talked to Sarah. And my guess, let's put it this way. I didn't raise my child, although she's her own person. She can do what she wants. My child is not going to have her view of Tech tarnished because he lost a fight. And that's because she's not a moron. She's a very bright kid. If you think she believes half the shit that comes out of this person's mouth, you're out of your goddamn mouth, out of your goddamn mind. The only tarnishing that could occur, because I haven't talked to Sarah, would be if she didn't want him to do it and he did it. And that was, for all I know, maybe they're upset. I don't think they're upset with each other, but I haven't talked to her since this went down. But I could see her being upset about that, but not that he lost. I mean, people lose things sometimes. America's fucked up with that. It's whether it's business, whether it's releasing a failed video game. Whether it's losing a fight, people lose. And ideally you learn from it and what do you fucking want, man?
By the way,
it's a generational thing, though. Let me say this
for a little bit.
Hang on. Let's just hang on. That's a Let me just finish this comment. That's a generational thing too. Teachers have talked about this. There have been articles written about it. The internet has made a lot of kids who came up with the internet terrified of losing and being seen as cringe and being called out. And in that, they take no chances. They don't raise their hand in class. They don't risk anything, and they feel safe in their bubble. Well, at least no one's making fun of me. At least no one's canceling me. And you're right, but you're also living your life in a goddamn bubble. Go ahead, Tech.
The original idea was, it's a boxing match, right? Fists are going to be used. That's what the engagement's going to be, right? And then it changes and changes and changes. Now it's like we're shoving each other into the water kind of deal, right? With certain rules in place, which weren't followed, right? The rules, it doesn't matter. Anything I say in the negative of it is going to sound like an excuse.
You're right, but why don't you be specific? Because we watched it. Maybe it would be obvious.
It was the moment someone goes down, right? Give them time to get back up, 3 seconds, and then engage again. But as you saw, I was getting pushed down like every time I fell to the floor. And I was like, there's a moment
Yeah,
on
it's
there
a good
where
point. So wait a minute. So you got pushed down the first time and you thought, okay, I'm down, this sucks, but I have 3 seconds.
the rules are
to catch my breath.
the rules are as soon as I'm up, 3 seconds, go again, right? And then that just wasn't a thing. It was like, oh, I'm on the ground now. I'm expecting, oh, I have time to get back up. And it was no, I was getting shoved on the floor again.
Okay,
Again,
well, if that were the rules and were those rules stated, like, can you roll back? Not you, but can the tape be rolled back and you can see that rule?
I don't know. It was said in the meeting beforehand, like the safety meeting, like this is what we have to do, right? No one's gonna push someone on the ground that's like beneath us. And then it just happened, and I was like, well, whatever. I don't know what the audio issue was at the beginning of the recording. I think someone said there was like bad audio, so we couldn't hear what was happening. But
we could hear it from Grimm's camera. We couldn't obviously hear it when it was the camera on the deck.
There's a moment where I told Steak, I was like, yo, I thought we had time to get up. What's happening? And they're like, well, like shoulder shrug.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I would say actually you won. He should forfeit. He should lose by forfeit.
No, I don't.
If
I don't give a fuck about who won or not at this point. I won.
No, I'm just saying as an observer. I if that's a good point.
Yeah, I wanted the one-on-one front-facing boxing match, but didn't happen.
So you really think after yesterday, you could still take him in a one-on-one boxing match?
It was a really weird restrictions ruled shove contest on like shitty ground, right? On an island. And that's way different than, okay, we're gonna set you up in a space and you're gonna box it out.
Yeah. So do you think you could? Do you still feel confident though that if it was the boxing round, you could take him
beforehand? Yeah. Now I'm all walking all funny because of the back. So maybe not the rest of Fat Camp, but Fat Camp 3, I promise you what.
Slinky dinky do. This response is just going to lead to round 2, Tech. He says, yeah, well, maybe, you never know. Tech didn't have his noodles that morning, says Slinky Dinky. You can see Nightmare was easy on Tech at the end, says Kelly, the instigator. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Let me ask you this. Have you spoken to Nightmare after the fight was over?
Me? Yeah, we've had a conversation.
I mean, did it take some of the tension and air out of it, or are you guys still hating on each other?
The tension was taken out like before the fight, honestly. But look, I'm gonna go back to laying down here.
Okay. Hakuna Matata, thank you for the super chat. Tech's excuses are not what makes this embarrassing. Hiding off screen. He punched Nightmare, accident or not, he lost fair and square. I didn't notice a punch.
People
but if you're
said
saying
I punched Nightmare, I went for his neck to like pull it down, and like I grazed his cheek, but it wasn't even a punch. It was like an open hand, my knuckle openly, like open hand, like brushed his face. I mean, I also have a cut under my eye from Nightmare's nail, but like, no one cares. No one really cares. It's just the team sports aspect of the whole thing.
Red Sheets Metal says Nightmare pushed so hard I'm walking funny. Jaffe, where did you find such a big broom? Says Kelly. Oh, I got a million of them, sweetheart. Thank you for the super chat, Kelly. I'm not sweeping for Tech. Look, I'm saying that I feel for the guy, but he also absolutely, lost the fight. He knows he lost the fight. Unlike Nightmare, I don't like to kick people when they're down. I love it. Wink. I mean, I'm not sweeping for the guy. Look, I think Tech has done, assuming it was the intent, a relatively admirable heel turn. For a long time, Tech was just the cute little guy with the little stupid finger thing that, turned Ken on or something. I don't know. And now it's this. So I don't fucking know. I don't watch this stuff. All I'm saying is I'm not sweeping. He lost the fight. There's no doubt he lost the fight. But I'm also not gonna, I'm gonna listen. Here's what I would say. When it comes to sweeping or whatever, if what Tech is saying is correct and Nightmare didn't play by the rules. On one hand, you could say, well, then that should be disqualifying. But on the other hand, you could say, well, after you get knocked down once and you realize that Nightmare is not playing by the rules, when you knock Nightmare down, you don't play by the rules. The thing is, Tech couldn't knock Nightmare down, so he didn't have a chance. But I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I think we all know what Tech would be in prison, says Paulie D. I try not to think about it. I try not to think about it, my good friend. Live react. The noodles are good. Yeah, they are good. You want me to? I can't live react because I'm not on OBS. I can't bring any clips up. But if you know, if Grim wakes up or shows up or anybody wants to be in the room and put it up, I'm happy to live react. Jaffe, check Discord for a shot of Tech hitting Nightmare. I'll check in a little bit. I mean, there's nothing I'm going to say. I mean, look, if he punched him and if Tech's excuse isn't good enough for you, then you're going to think he punched him. I wasn't there, but you know, I don't think Tech would have punched the guy though. I don't think Tech is a cheater in that way at all. But I wasn't there. Kayla, thank you for the super chat. I'm not saying she feels differently about him. I'm saying the ability to bask in the post-engagement love was tarnished. Oh, I understand your point. All right, Caleb, maybe. I don't think Sarah probably gives a shit either way when it comes to the fact that he won or lost. I could be wrong. But I will say that I'm sure it's affecting Tech. Slinky says he asked for uppies and he got downsies. There you go. Yo Mama covered this perfectly last night. Yeah, you go watch that. I mean, you know, I'm not that guy, right? I'm here to talk about, you know, well, at this point, here's the thing. We can stay on the fight. We can stay on that if you guys want. We can jump to some other topics. We can talk a little bit about Chuck Norris. We can talk about the most terrifying theories about death, maybe about what Chuck Norris is experiencing right now. In fact, let's do that. Let's talk about the most terrifying theories about death. And then from there, you guys can decide after that if you want to stay on topics such as that, talk about the news, shoot the shit, or do you want to get back to talking about the fight? Anna G says, I'd punch Nightmare too if he didn't let me get up. Well, yeah, but I think the punch came first. But again, thank you so much. They love them LLC. I like that you started a company just for your name. Jaffe's the best person in the LCU. You goddamn right. I am. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I got all my jokes out. Let's move on, says Slinky Dinky Doo. I don't know. More jokes, more money, baby. Jaffe, did you like Modern Warfare 2019? I don't. Was that the remake of the first Modern Warfare? I don't remember. I mean, I'm a fan of most of the single player, and I've been obsessed with all the multiplayer for the last 5 years. But this year hasn't really won me over with the multiplayer. Okay. Tech's here, but he's kind of just behind the camera right now, licking his wounds. He's real sore and tired, not feeling good. Jaffe, you should do Tech a big favor and let him figure out his life. It's not my favor. I don't tell Tech about his fucking life. What do you mean figure out his life? I don't know how to respond to that. It's not my life he's living. Listen to this. Well, yeah, Depressed to Impress says all that hype for a minute of watchable content. Welcome to boxing, man. Welcome to fighting. Most fights don't last that long, right? So Tech's normal state is upside down turtle on chair. Okay. He's hiding and pouting. Well, I don't know. Wouldn't you be? Jesus fucking Christ. Look, Tech's got a pretty big ego. We all know that. And so, look, man, come on. You lose a fight publicly. No, here's what I'll say. You guys have an absolute right to enjoy the shit out of his failure. Because if you didn't like Tech before and you thought he had a big ego, this has to be a delightful comeuppance that you're enjoying happen in almost real time. I get that. No one's trying to tell you you shouldn't be feeling what you're feeling. I get that. Absolutely. Mm. All right. If he has a back injury, he's probably really sore. Yeah, no, he is. He's, I mean, he's, you know, the back injury is not a lie, but again, it would make you wonder why he isn't, you know, why he's not, you know, why he's getting into a quote ring either way with a back injury, right? I can't bring anybody up. No one's in the waiting room. If you want to come up, I mean, I'm winging this, folks, and I'm happy to wing it. I don't give a shit. I'll do the best I can. But if there's somebody who wants to go in members waiting, I'll bring you up for. Obviously, if the more entertaining you are, the longer you'll be on. If you suck, I'll kick you off. But if you're interesting, come on up. All we want is a little humility, says the bro. You know, no, you don't. You really want that? I don't know. Tech's too sensitive for the LCU, Lego. Lego Kenobi. Is he? I don't know. Maybe. I think please speak on Afro Man. I will look into it. I don't know anything about it. Let's go look to Afro Man. I don't even know what Natasha was mentioning that earlier. Afro Man, American rapper and singer. Afro Man found not liable in bizarre defamation case bought by Ohio cops.
Yeah, so
raided his home.
The Afro Man story is he had a home security system in place that recorded the cops raiding his house. And in that, he shit on one of the officers that was there, and she was, you know, I think they were not behaving properly. I think they were like flipping off the cameras and shit and laughing or whatever. And so he made a rap song about one of the officers, and then she was like, "Oh, that's what's the term when you like make fun of someone's
defamation?"
Yeah, like defamation. So they try to sue him for defamation. He's like, "I got the freedom of speech, bitch. I'm gonna do it if I want to do it." Yeah, they found him not liable.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, look at him in trial with that American flag tie and jacket. Oh, he wrote "Because I Got High"?
Yeah, Afro Man.
Oh, that's a great song. He held up his hands in triumph and hugged people in the courtroom after he was found not liable for defamation. He was sued by the Adams County Sheriff Office over a drug search. All right, well, good for him. Good for him. Fuck these people who think they can tell you what you can and can't say. I don't know what to tell you with these cops sometimes. We see public officials all the time that are made fun of, says the lawyer. They're going to be held to a higher standard. The work is going to be criticized. That's what happens when you're a public official. Yeah. How do these people not know this? What a bunch of fucking babies. A lot of these, look, you know, it's not that I'm sitting around. I think some cops are great cops and they risk their lives and all that's great. But if you're too fucking stupid to understand the very things that you're supposed to be defending in the Constitution, then you probably shouldn't be a cop. Kelly the Instigator, thank you for the very generous super chat, says, I would have more respect for Tech if he said, I talked shit, we fought, and I lost, not make a million excuses of what went wrong. Tech is acting like a sore loser, not a man.
I literally said that I lost, and I literally said that anything I say is just going to seem like I'm bitching about it, and I'm not bitching about it. I don't know what the fuck you want, Kelly. I lost the fight, right? I want to have a different fight next time. I'm in pain, and that's what happened. There were certain like things that was agreed on. We didn't follow them, but I didn't like stop the fight and be like, we're not doing this because it's not what we agreed. We just continued, right? We rolled the punches, did the thing. I fell down, hurt my back, and now here we are. Bitch.
Sinatra says that's, I'll get these super chats. Sinatra says that's not an accurate take on the Afro Man story. He was sued for using the footage of the camera, like I guess the cop camera or their camera. He released the song Lemon Pound Cake and Will You Help Me Fix My Door? That's why they sued. Then he released the songs. Yeah, but they still, I guess, the court still found it as
fair use.
Satire, whatever, or it certainly wasn't defamation. So good for him. I got nothing but love for Tech, says Nightmare UK. Is that the Nightmare guy?
Yeah,
that's real Nightmare. I don't know what UK is. Okay, we butted egos. We both went on that island as men and left as men. It takes balls to show up and do that in front of thousands. He has my respect. And then he says, "What is that thing he says all the time?"
Vow or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but he says that. He doesn't say that. I made that up.
Where do you see that message?
Well, there you go. There's Nightmare chiming in from the winner's circle. Yeah. But what do you think about that, Nightmare? I mean, Tech is saying that that one of the reasons that maybe he didn't prevail was that the rules were that if you knock someone down, you got to give them 3 to 5 seconds to get up. And you knocked him down and he was immediately shoved and pushed and he was, going, wait a minute, I'm not prepped for this. This isn't what I thought the rules were. Because that's a correct read on your take, Tech, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, during the whole thing, I can see how things don't get followed, right? So I don't really care too much about it.
Well,
okay.
I'm not saying that was Nightmare's problem. That may have been whoever was officiating should have said, whoa, wait a minute. This is not the rules. I mean, even Johnny Lawrence lost a point when he broke Daniel Russo's leg. He's like, sweep the knee. Yeah. And he's like, Pavlov's Dogma, thank you for the super chat. Oh, now Tech wants to talk. This is why people hate you. Really? Jaffe, I'm not trying to stir more shit. I'm asking Nightmare. He's here. I'd be curious what he thinks. That's all. You are cheeky Jaffe, and I love it, says Slinky Dinky Doo. You have enough money to keep spending it here at the LCU, and I love it. I love that about me. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. Yeah, Nightmare's on his throne right now. Yeah, he can afford to be gracious now. Nightmare says, I let him up a few times, but in the situation, I kept getting punched in the face, which I don't blame him for. Shit gets heated. Why you get me? It's all good, though. You were punching him in the face?
I don't think I was.
You don't look like TechProtect. You're a lady with a dog and a bingo card.
Good morning, Jaffe.
How you doing, bud? What's going on?
Hi. I don't know if we've officially met yet. I'm Melcifer.
Yeah. Maleficent.
Yeah.
From the movie.
I wanted to come in and talk about that you forgot that Afro Man was the person who wrote Because I Got High. I thought that was funny.
I only knew that song because it was in, I was not a pot guy growing up. I only kind of really, found my love for it in the last 5 years or so. Maybe more, maybe in the last 10 years. Speaking of cheddar, it's good.
Which strain is that? Bitch. Is that what it's called?
I'm not doing a sponsorship.
Stop talking about it.
Why?
Because you're not getting paid for it anywhere.
Who gives a shit? It's still, they sent me free weed.
That's how you're not going to get paid. Because we don't even have to fucking pay the guy. Look at him talking about it.
Anyway, don't talk about that if you didn't get paid.
Anyway, the point is, I only recently, I don't know. The point is is that when that song was out, I probably wasn't paying any attention to sort of music like that. And I only noticed it when it was in one of the Jay and Silent Bob movies. And then I was like, that's the best song ever. But I had no idea who wrote it. Does he have other good songs, or was he like a novelty guy with that one song?
He had another good one too about the Tech. Can you help me out? What's the other one where he's talking about the ladies and the Hawaiian punch coming out of her titties? He's like, I have no idea, but there's one about that where he.
A zigzag, baby. It's all I need. Is that the one?
I forget, but he talks about all the different ethnicities of ladies and why he loves them, and that he messed with a girl that had like green hair and she whooped out a dick that was 45. Bigger than his.
Colt 45.
Yes.
Colt 45 and 2 zigzags, baby. That's all I need.
That's all we need.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, now I know. Maybe I will listen to. Maybe I'll listen to
Afro Man.
Although somebody in the chat says, remember when Afro Man punched that lady on stage, says Spin. I know. No, I don't remember that. I don't know anything about it, but that sounds terrible. Sorry, what were you going to say? Also what?
Do you know this Sinatra Says person in your chat? I caught that really quick too.
Oh, where Sinatra Says was the one I think who brought up something about tech or something. What did they say? What are you saying? What are you bringing him up? Oh,
he's bringing about Afro Man too. Yeah, but
he was the one that corrected the point about the lawsuit was not just that they came into that he made a rap. It was that he used the footage, I guess the body cam footage or whatever.
He did. It's a great video. The battle hymn of the whatever it's called. It's interesting. It's very low key.
I mean, look, I think cops have gotten, maybe they've always been this way, but I don't know, at least the way they were covered. I was watching a movie last night that was made in 1988, and the cops were just, they were just kind of normal fucking people, and they didn't have military gear, and they weren't all roided up. They were just like public servants.
Right.
And if you needed shit that was going down, you called in SWAT. And now all these guys are just like, and I'm like, figure it out, you stupid fucking cops. I mean,
No.
it pisses me off.
I
Not
agree. It
all of
pisses
them.
off a lot of people.
Yeah.
But Sinatra says I wonder if they found you beforehand, like if they've been watching you for a long time, because at one point they also made some content reacting to ALR.
Well, he might have been watching Amber and that stuff, but I'm not in that girl world stuff, and I'm not really an LCU guy. So he probably watched Amber, but I've never heard of Sinatra. I mean, why are you asking? Is he saying something fascinating, or is he
did have
famous,
really
or?
good content. He very much reminds me of you in his delivery. And so I just thought it was interesting to see him pop up in your chat and have him say, I love this show. So I wonder what came first, chicken or the egg in that scenario. And
I've never heard of the guy. So look, anybody who watches, if you're talking about my stylings, I mean, I think my influences are easy to track. It ain't Sinatra Says, not because he's not good, because I've never heard of the guy. But anybody, I mean, sometimes I'll say things and I'll be like, I'm going to get sued for saying that. I'll always go out of my way and say, that's not my joke. I'll never steal anyone's jokes, but affectations of voice and things, I think, are pretty clear where I'm riffing on those. So,
oh yeah, I thought that was interesting. But then also the Afro Man thing, I'm like, wait a minute, he doesn't know that is who did that, because there's also Ultra has a version of his song. He made an AI version of Ultra Got High.
Do you have you struggled with the autism, or you've made peace with it?
I made peace with it. I'm a late diagnoser, 100%.
I was gonna say, I know a number of late diagnosers, and I'm like, that's your special interest right now, is it's your hyperfixation. I have some autistic folks in my life, and I love, one of my favorite, my son is a little autistic. I don't know how you say it. I hear you can't say on the spectrum anymore. I don't fucking know, but he's got autism. But he's very functioning and all that stuff. But you take a walk with that kid, and he is so into like biology and nature and stuff. And it's like your neck will hurt at the end of walking with him, because he stops every 10 minutes. Look at this bug. Look at this fucking bug. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, come on, man. We're walking. But he'll the whole walk comes to a halt because he's got to analyze a tiny little fucking bug he found, which I think is the cutest fucking thing in the world. But so I guess I can recognize it as the point. But yeah. So when you say your late diagnosis, is it one of those things that you look back now and you say, oh my God, all this makes so much sense that I have been this way?
Yes,
like
100%.
I imagine there's a great deal of comfort in that in some ways, because you can kind of put it in a bit of a box and go, I'm not crazy.
I didn't find comfort or like necessarily even anything bad about it. Things just made sense. Like that behavior can be categorized now, and like these behaviors that I still do to this day also can be categorized and labeled, which, as you know, we love. It doesn't necessarily change who I am.
No, but I at least, I don't know, maybe there's comfort in community, in the sense of going, okay, like what do you think is the most disruptive part of your autism that's been a challenge for your life?
Honestly, I couldn't even label it as disruptive because I'm so used to living that way. I have trouble with social cues in public in terms of reading when to start and stop talking. I've gotten better as I've gotten older, but it used to be much worse. That's very hard.
Well, it's probably also because neurotypical people, who you deal with mostly because they're typical, are boring. Like I have ADD, I have scorching ADD, and sometimes I'm like, I know what you're going to say. I've already reached the end. Can we just move on? And well, you're interrupting me. It's like, yeah, because I'm bored. I have the fast forward button. I know where this is going. It's very rare I'm surprised and I'm like, oh, you threw me for a loop there. I'm like, no, I know where this is going. And that doesn't mean I'm not interested. It doesn't mean I'm not interested in what they are saying to me, but it does mean that I'd like to speed it up a little bit, and let's get to the next trapeze. But anyway,
yes.
let's see. I'm looking at the. Andrea asked if you were self-diagnosed with autism or you were.
Yeah, I am, because I went to like a therapist and asked about it, and as an adult, it's kind of hard. It's easier as like children, but so my doctor was like, take all these tests and self-assessments, see what they are, and then just kind of see if you can find any like self-help on the internet for that. So I did.
Right.
And I'm like, it's not like they were low. It was high. I scored like really high in all of them. So I'm like, I'm not gonna sit on the fence about it. It doesn't disrupt my life.
Yeah, and it's tough too because a lot of times those things will want to sell you stuff afterwards, right? So it's like, oh, I'm this. Oh, look, they have a solution for me. I'll buy that, right? So you always got to be careful. I like somebody in the chat talking about the fight yesterday says, Tech came in like he was opening a door to a fast food restaurant. I've never heard that one, but that's pretty fucking good, dude. That's pretty good. Okay, read the freaking super chat about Tech's wrestling background. If I can find it, you fucking whore. LolCow alert, it just came in. Shut up, whatever that other guy's name was. Thank you for the super chat. Can we ask Tech about his MMA boxing background? You can ask him, but Tech's in and out of this conversation, just like he was in and out of the fight yesterday. So I don't know if he's gonna jump on, but Tech is producing from behind the scenes. The guy doesn't feel good. Let me ask you a question. Marvelous Mary. What is today? Go sit down.
Friday.
What?
Today's Friday. I thought you asked.
No, I was going to ask you, as a woman watching a guy get his ass beat like Tech did yesterday, is the initial thought, yeah, he lost, but he showed up and that's brave, or it's like, I could never be sexually attracted now because I've seen him get his ass kicked? Like, what is that? How does that work?
I think you could have both. You can say, wow, yeah, he showed up, right? He didn't run away from it. And also you can be sad that he lost. But there always has to be a loser unless it's a draw. And then if a draw, you should do it again and then see who's the winner, because if you're not first, you're last.
Right.
So.
Okay. But he could also, you know what he could do though, because my daughter, because he's engaged to my daughter, is she's a huge Hamilton nerd. And he could be like, Alexander Hamilton lost the duel on the island. And so he could do that kind of thing. And he's like, I was doing it for you, baby. I don't fucking know how to spin this, man. I'm trying to help him out. I don't know.
You could do like a story of like revenge, like Monte Cristo, goes like that route. Just wait 20 years and come back and get him.
Yeah. You know what I've been thinking about reading? Nobody gives a shit on the show what I'm thinking about reading, but I've been thinking about reading, speaking of the Count of Monte Cristo, is I've never read maybe it is the Count of Monte Cristo. God, this is so not LCU material. There's a PBS show about the Count of Monte Cristo, and I've been thinking about reading either that or Three Musketeers written by the same guy. Mm-hmm. Have you ever read any of those books?
I have. I read Count of Monte Cristo. And this year I have on my list to read the Brothers Karamazov. I read a lot of big, thick, like, chunky, deep books or whatever.
When's the last time? Because do they hold up? Like, people have been telling me Anna Karenina is a great soap opera book, and it holds up. It doesn't hold up?
Anna Karenina is shit. I read that this past year, and I was so disappointed.
Okay, but Monte Cristo holds up?
I actually didn't think it held up either. I was also disappointed. I just happened to have read it recently.
Okay. What's the oldest book you've read that you're like, that still fucking works?
Actually, I really loved, and it's kind of one of my favorites, was Gone with the Wind.
Oh, I know that was a book, but it never would have occurred to me to read it. The movie's so stamped in consciousness that,
the book is really fucking good.
You know what sucks? That people don't read. People don't like to read. I love reading. What about the Housemaid? Everybody says that book is great, and they made a movie about it, right? With Sydney Sweeney. Have you read that one? I
do enjoy Frida McFadden. The great thing about her and what makes her so digestible is her fast pace. She writes very well. She makes it very easy to digest, but still talks and writes in a very smart way.
Yeah, she's very much of the girl version of James Patterson, and that I think she writes in that she knows how to end a chapter that you want to turn the page.
You keep going.
The word she chooses, it flows very, very nicely. But was The Housemaid worth reading or not worth reading? Because everybody's raving about it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's actually a trilogy. There's 3 of them, and I think it's actually very good. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if it holds up. But as far
Right.
as the plot and the twist, Frida's very good at her twists.
Okay. Okay, cool. Why don't people read more? If you're watching the chat going, this is boring. Let me tell you something. I'm a guy who made video games. I love video games. But reading, man, if you can make the time to read, it really is the best interactive medium. It is fucking amazing. It's there's no limits on budget or imagination, and it's you have to imagine so much of it that it's like you're really there.
Yeah.
You ever watch your mind when you're reading and go, like, this is so crazy. I was in that scene. Like it's more immersive than a movie, more immersive than a game. You're reading a scene and you put the book down, you're like, your mind was convinced that was real and you were in that scene.
And that's why people get let down by the movies. It's because they have that discrepancy of what they visualize versus what they get presented.
It's insane. It's
Mhm.
insane. I read a lot of manga, says Big Murph. Yeah, I like manga. I love comics. I love it all. I mean, I love all media for the most part. I'm a big fucking fan of all of it. But I have found as I've gotten older, that I've started to read a lot more than I used to.
I love it.
Do you think that it's kind of tacky to sit there and propose the same place as Boogie and the same place as Glammy at the wedding? Look,
I think it's
I have
actually fitting.
Well, the problem is the question comes preloaded because the question makes the assumption that there is a right way to marry and ask someone to marry, and all you're really doing with that assumption is you are buying into kind of the typical marriage business in the marriage industrial complex. And so in that, I'm like, yeah, it's not normal. It's not what would be in a movie like Father of the Bride or something, but my kid doesn't really do normal, and Tech certainly doesn't do normal. So to me, it's almost more fitting than like a path of rose petals leading to a band in the gazebo in the middle of Stars Hollow and Gilmore Girls or some such shit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Keemstar, how you doing?
Good morning. I heard there was still rah-rah about the feud, so I'm going to settle it right here on Crypt.
Okay. I don't know if there was really rah-rah. I hate to kind of, you're like, dude, I'm setting you up. This is good. Fair enough. I know. But yeah, go ahead. What did you hear?
Well, people are saying that they're getting timed out for criticizing Tech and all this stuff, and Tech won't just accept that he lost, and there's all these excuses. So I said, all right, you know what? Let's do arm wrestling. We'll do it right now, right on Crypt. So, Tech's back there. Now, Tech is in a lot of pain, he just said.
Yeah.
But Nightmare's here, and I just think you don't want to?
No, I'm in like a ton of pain. I don't want to put any strain on my back right now.
You should get a proxy.
Does arm wrestling put strain on your back?
You have to engage your back to like move your core towards the fucking table.
You know what really sucks is the show I'm not looking at the numbers. I was not prepared to solo the show today. The numbers must have been terrible for Keemstar to have been woken up and going, I have to go in there and save the show with some fucking arm wrestling bullshit. What were the numbers? We're fucked.
No, I think you guys are doing okay. I was in the theater room hanging out, and like everybody kept coming in and saying, there were all these problems over here with people getting banned. But I talked to Tech, and he said he only banned one person.
I haven't seen any of that. There was one guy who made a transphobic comment that I had an issue with, and that guy got banned, and that's it. I haven't seen anything else. People are looking at it and saying, Tech is saying that Nightmare didn't follow the rules, and then Nightmare mentioned that, Tech did punch, and Nightmare was cool with that because it was in the heat of battle.
Bro,
so
that's
his
wallpaper. Punch me in the face?
I mean, Tech
didn't, bro, like
Tech did
that is
hit
a
him
fucking full-on punch to the face.
Right. So that's the only thing.
That's my fucking eye socket, brother. Like, what are we talking about?
Wait, Tech, can you come on a mic? We can't hear you.
Like, bro, come on, dude. Like I don't care. It's fine. It happens, right? Like, you got a little bit angry. Like, you punched me a few times. It's all good, dude. It happens. We're men at the end of the day. It gets heated. I don't give a fuck about that.
All right, what if we do thumb wrestling? Would that hurt your back, Tech?
Fuck, dude. Like, who cares? We're done, bro. Look, my mindset is exactly what I said in your chat earlier. Tech and I entered on the island as men. We settled our fucking shit and we left as men. He showed up and he did a lot more than fucking half the other cunts did. GTS Gwen.
And by the way, I do 100% believe Tech when he says like, "Hey, look, I got into this car accident. I had a previous injury that's been triggered from doing the little athletic thing on the island." Like, I believe him 100%. So to people saying that that's not true and that's an excuse, like, nah, dude, come on.
It's one of them, dude.
You know, I have to point out though what's funny about this, and I get it. I mean, you win the contest you enter, and Nightmare, whether he is or not, should be walking around a little pumped up because he won, and Tech should be walking around a little like deflated, because he lost in a very public way. But what's funny is if it was you two guys almost anywhere else in America, like outside a bar, you'd both have your asses on the ground. I mean, keep it in perspective, right? It's like, I beat you at the shoving match. It's like, okay. But it was, you still won.
Why do you think I'm not flexing about it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I think you should flex a little bit. You should flex a little bit.
What's the point? What's the point in rubbing someone's face in it once it's done?
Oh, I'm not saying rub his face in it. I'm saying you should feel good that you won. It feels good to win.
I had that moment. Yeah. That's when it happened.
Yeah.
That was yesterday. It's time to move on. How are we doing?
Well, I know, but I'm saying it's easy to say that when you win. I'm sure Tech's going to have to be dealing with this in therapy for the next 20 years.
Oh, come on. There's no fucking way.
It's not that serious.
We're being dramatic as fuck.
It's not that serious to me. I'm not blaming you. I'm saying,
okay,
this clearly punctured the guy's ego in a big way.
It was a shoving match. It's not a real competition on who's the better
I'm not
killer.
defending that behavior or that response. I'm saying, I mean, don't you think Tech's response is probably 70% physical pain he's in right now because of a very real injury?
It could be.
And 30% is there's probably some real, internalized shame about this.
Well, he shouldn't be shamed.
No, fuck no.
It's a goofy LolCow
shoving match,
fat camp shoving match.
Yeah.
Like, he shouldn't be shamed.
All right, well, I hope I'm wrong then, Tech. So there's no shame, there's no humiliation or any of that. It's just physical pain.
I'm in pain. I didn't want to come wake up into the show, and now I want to go lay down and sleep. But we have a show to do.
No, you can lay down. I'm sure, like, we could figure it out. I mean, we could just hang out here and fill in for you. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
If you want to go to sleep, there's only an hour left of the show, Tech.
I got you, bro.
You got this?
Yeah. If you need to go get yourself some rest, dude, because you're not feeling good, that's fine. There's no worries at all.
All right. I'm gonna hang out as much as I can, then I'll peace out if I need to.
All right, man.
Yeah, see, Nightmare, is more of a gentleman than because there's no way I would have let that go. I would have been like, yeah, if you want to go get some rest because I kicked your ass, I get it. Go get some rest.
I think
that's what I know. I'm not. You're better than me. I'm saying I would have done it. I would have done it.
Huge Ass makes a great point. He said, you got a fiance from Fat Camp. Like, don't focus on this shit.
Hey, you got the W.
Well, I have not spoken with her, and I'm dying to know what she thought. Like, my ex-wife last night was saying, I bet Sarah's really pissed.
No, Sarah's whole thought was like, oh, this shit's real fucking stupid. Like, I don't care what happens. There's a name. I don't know how much publicly you want to talk about partner stuff. Do you care at all?
Well, I don't want to talk about anything that I've mentioned you in private, no. But if you want to air it out, that's fine.
No. It's just, there's an understandable reason why we agreed to squash the beef. That's as far as it needs to go.
Because of Kim?
Jeff, no. Literally shut the fuck up.
I wasn't in a private conversation.
No, he's brought it up. Bit of a prickish move, but whatever. We'll talk about it.
Wait. No. I'll
talk about it.
Stop for a moment.
When Tech was doing Crypt,
I was not in a private conversation with anyone.
When Tech was doing Crypt, I could hear.
Yeah,
that's fine. When Tech was doing Crypt, I could hear Sarah talking, and she seemed really concerned and upset and bothered by it. Right? Kimmy was on the phone with me, and she was upset and bothered about it. She didn't like the fact that she didn't know if anyone was safe or anything. So I was like, okay, fuck this. I said to Kimmy on the phone, I said, I'll sit him down, and I'm gonna speak to him. We're just gonna sort it out. And that's what we did.
Cool.
I don't know why that needed to be brought up. Like
I mean, it's a.
I
don't
did
know why
I did
it
it for the
was that was
betterment
brought
of the women. Do you know what I mean? Because like they were like uncomfortable and they were upset.
We both did, right? You told me, you know, how your girl thought about the whole thing.
Yeah,
and
I told you what your girl was saying as well when you were doing crypt.
But you know what? She's never voiced that to me. It's hard for me.
That's
to
fine,
just
bro. You
take
don't
that.
have to believe me, but I did it because I thought that both of them were concerned based on the information I had, and I was like, you know what? It's only right that we fucking end this shit.
Yeah, we had to sit down. You
Yeah.
know, Mike was there. We talked it out. Look, I like Kimmy. You know, when Kimmy came back to the LCU,
Me
she
too.
was
I
an
hope she's
intern
still on the
here
show.
Crypt.
I don't know where she's
Yeah,
been.
she's chill. She's
I know
just got
she's
IRL commitments. That's what it is.
Not to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
rude, but can't the women go make some brownies or something while the men sort it out?
Yeah. So it was a reasonable position for both of us to kind of like
You
lower
know,
the temperature.
You be careful of what brownies you eat that my daughter makes, because you don't know what she's putting in those goddamn things.
But yeah, that
Putting a
was
tutu
literally that was
going,
literally it,
I see God, and she'll be like, mission accomplished. I would love to eat some fucking pop brownies. I was saying this, you know, because I wasn't interested in going to fat camp. You do fucking ayahuasca DMT camp next year. Maybe I'll, you know, let's
I would
fucking
love to
get
do
high
DMT. I'm not
and try to
joking.
commune with aliens and shit.
David, I can't do it because like everything I know about it, I just feel like I'm cheating death, right? You know, you die and the DMT naturally flows. I feel like if you cheat, there might be a punishment when you actually die. I don't know.
That's a crazy thought.
Do you
process I hadn't thought
know?
of.
Do you know
Fair.
what happened 2 days ago on an island in the Caribbean? Have you been following the story about? There's this thing called DMTX. Are you familiar with DMTX?
No.
Okay, DMT is a very short trip. It's like 2 to 4 minutes. But a lot of people have said
Feels
that
like
have been
hours,
doing
right?
it. And this, what's that?
DMT, when you take it, it feels like hours, but it's like it's a really short span of time.
I don't know. I've never taken it, but
Oh.
my understanding is, and there's this great book, but there's a lot of people that see these entities and these machine elves, and even before, you know, the 60s, there was evidence of this. And so an anesthesiologist came up with a way to administer DMT in a way that will allow you to have a 6 to 8 hour trip using techniques they learned in anesthesia. So you're able to stay in this realm, and they've opened up a clinic on an island in the Caribbean. It opened up on Wednesday. And they're basically flying people out, both that pay for it, but also like scientists and mathematicians and philosophers, to try to document the DMT mental realm to determine if it is actually a portal to commune with this shit, or if it's just shit that we create in our heads. And they've created all these experiments to, you know, they'll send people in without information, and if they come back with the information, there's no way they could have known that.
Look,
It's pretty cool.
it is not shit that people are just seeing in their head, because there's so many reports of multiple people doing DMT trips at the same time, and they're seeing the same exact experience. Now, that's just because
and
they're
you
at
have
the
to be
same
careful
time.
though, because there is kind of like everybody can hear, oh, I see machine elves, and so your brain gets primed
Well,
to
that's
see
what I
machine
was
elves.
thinking. Right? Do you think that people are doing these kind of tests? They have an idea of what's been experienced in the past, and therefore it's in their brain, right? Like you have such an active imagination that gets quite suppressed in day-to-day time, especially as you get older.
The reason
so taking DMT is unlocking that, right?
Yeah. The reason that is, it's a very logical assumption. The reason that they're doing tests though is because they're saying it's not like in the 60s when I think it was I don't know who it was, not Timothy Leary, but whoever quoted or came up with coined the phrase machine elves. Millennia before that, there was evidence of people seeing similar creatures, and people didn't know about it. And also that's why they have these tests of sending people in with questions that they can't answer. And if they come back with the answer, that's, you know, so because they're trying to figure that out. Is it a thing that the mind creates, or is it actually DMT is released possibly at the time of death in order to help us transition into whatever the next phase is? So
I get a real,
I love this stuff.
I get a real Adam and Eve fear about this stuff, in the sense of like, I'm not supposed to bite the forbidden fruit, right? Like I
get
like
that.
some of this stuff, like it's like, whoa, no, I'm not supposed to know. Like this is one thing that I'm not supposed to explore, right? And I don't know where that fear comes from because a lot of other people don't give a shit. And they're like, I need to know, right? And I'm curious and I want to know, but not from myself. I'd rather, like this experiment that they're doing, right? I will watch a documentary. I'm all about that. But me, myself, don't want, no. I'm like, nope, that I know this is going to happen to me when I die. I have to save it until then. I don't know where that comes from.
I really do want to try it because I'm always like one that will experiment with like different types of drugs, especially when I was younger, right? And that's always been the one thing I've always wanted to try because I've heard it gives you like such like an ego death kind of thing, right? It just really helps you like explore outside your like your norms of what society is and just really get a new perspective in life. But then I've heard it's also like completely changed people's personalities for like the worst as well. You know, they've gone from being an introvert into being quite like an extrovert and being an introvert. And I'm like, that's interesting. So it depends what you see, right? I would like the idea of someone not having any fucking clue what DMT is and then them taking it and then being quite, a talented artist, for example, and then drawing what they've seen.
That's what this book is. This book is filled with artists that have taken it and then they've drawn what they've seen. It came out this year, but my understanding is ayahuasca is more of the inward ego death, and DMT is more of an outward. You actually go somewhere. So ayahuasca is more of a you burn away that sense of the you-ness and the ego dies, but DMT is a very different kind of thing. But I'm with you, man. I mean, I love all of this shit, and I think it's, I don't have the means to buy a spaceship. I'm not going to get to explore space, but inner space is something that, we do have access to. And so to me, Keem, when you say the forbidden fruit or whatever, I kind of go, these are metaphorical boats that have been parked in the fucking harbor for us. And it would be a shame to not, especially where a lot of people go and take DMT and or have near death experiences, which a lot of people say are similar. And they come back and they say, I'm no longer afraid of death. It's made my life so much more. It's allowed me to focus and prioritize because a lot of this shit that I was worried about means nothing to me now. So I don't, who knows, but it's fascinating. I'm
as a game developer, gamers will figure out a way to like glitch out of the pre-made world. But sometimes you have to restart the PlayStation because you're stuck, I mean, I'm sorry.
Actually, it's a very interesting comparison to make. Yeah. I like that. I don't know, man. I think I have too much knowledge on what other people have experienced with it to go in with a blank mind. And I wish I could go in with a blank mind. Because, here's the thing for me, and I'll be, very skeptical about shit. When I see a book and it's like, oh, people have never tried it, they've never heard about it, they've taken it, and they've seen these things, I kind of want to call cap on it because I've never met those people, right? You don't know if they're telling the truth for sure or if they've actually discussed it. And they'll be like, look, you might see stuff like this and this and this. So then your brain's going to store that knowledge and then just, blow it out into
you have to be skeptical. Right? If you're really interested, you have to be skeptical.
Right? And that's why I want to try it, but then I feel like I'll just see what everyone else is seeing because that's how I imagine it. It's like when someone tells you what a drug will do to you, that can be pros and cons, and you've never taken a drug before, and you think about the cons in your head, right, when you're taking it, and then it's more likely to happen because you're fearful of it, right? That's what I feel like it's going to be. I don't know.
You just reminded me I have to take my dope. I haven't taken it.
Well, there we go.
That's my my ADD meds, baby. It's good stuff.
The uptick in UFO sightings, fireballs, the White House lockdown, aliens.gov domain. Yeah. I mean, good God, we're in the middle of Project Bluebeam right around the corner.
Bluebeam, dude. The cows are getting taken up again.
It is amazing. And it's hard because now people are saying, how much of it's a psyop to begin with, how much of it was always lies. And the fact that there are congressional hearings about this shit. And then there's that scientist that went missing that was very much into this and no one knows where the fucking guy is. And his wife is even she thinks something funny's going on. I mean, yeah, what's disappointing is the fact that we're going to die and we're probably never going to know all of these secrets. We're not going to know really what happened to Kennedy. We're not going to know if
Chuck Norris just died and didn't get the answers to a lot of the stuff and live through all of it. That's
right. That's right. Was the Trump assassination attempt staged? All kinds of things that we just aren't going to get to know. Do we have aliens? Was Roswell real? I fucking hate that shit. I hate that we don't get to know. It's like bull fuck you.
The uncertainty is really, really jarring. I'll give you that. But I'm so skeptical of this alien shit as well. I'm so skeptical.
Well, what aspect are you skeptical?
I don't know what here's the thing, right? Do aliens exist? Obviously, right? There's no way in the infinite cosmos that we have that we're the only intellectual species. And I would say like we're not even really intellectual at all.
Not even intellectual, just bacterial, anything, right? Something, right?
There's no way that there's not like a form of evolution out there on other planets. There's just no way. But like, have they come here? I don't know. Maybe, right? But why would they come to a place that's basically just a bunch of primates like roaming around, right? In like brick houses. You know, it's nothing really spectacular when you think about it. It's like a petting zoo. In equivalent to like other places where they can travel across like planets and stuff and galaxies. We're basically a fucking petting zoo to them. We're nothing on the intellectual level.
Because, you know, most stars are much closer together than where we are, right? We are so far away from our nearest neighbor that Earth is like kind of like a pit stop for aliens. I mean, this is a leading theory, right? So like when the aliens have to travel far distances, right? They stop at Earth, replenish supplies, fix their equipment and stuff like that. That's the way it's been explained to me. And that makes a lot of sense.
Dude, I
mean, there are a lot of theories. You know, there's the theory that we have been genetically engineered. And there was a period in time where we're not really able to explain how evolution at a cognitive level jumped from X to Y. And that theory is that we were manipulated at a genetic.
That is so sound to me because, like, look, if you need gold, right, to run some of these space craft or whatever, what do? You engineer a human and you put gold as the most valuable thing in the world and you have us mining it for years and years and years. And then when you come down to the government and you make a deal, hey, we're going to give you some technology. Well, the government already has bars and bars and bars of gold to make that trade and make that deal. Right. That makes super sense to me.
I fuck with that. That's actually a really, I've never thought about that before, to be fair.
One that's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. Right? I genuinely think that if they were to come here, like I said, they treat us like a zoo, right? And they would have like disguised skin suits they would wear, you know, just to blend in and be able to like, oh, look at this, like tourists, right? They would look like tourists just walking around, so you wouldn't even know. But I just don't know. I don't think they would declare war on this planet.
This is a farm. That's the one that scares me.
Yeah. What would be the benefit of them declaring war here? Do you know what I mean? Well, natural resources they could do trade with.
Let's say it's all fake, right? And the root of everything is the Epstein files, right? The most powerful people in the world involved in some weird fucking devil shit, right? And we're going to cover that up by starting World War III. And during World War III, we're going to bring the world together by staging the fake aliens, right? And creating a one world government, right? You know what I mean? We are living at the craziest time in human history. We might be living at the craziest time.
Yes, but I also think if you believe that, then you can't believe that the CIA killed Kennedy, because if we're willing to start World War III to protect Trump from the Epstein files, I'm not saying it should be done, but I'm saying you'd think the CIA would just go, oh well, we'll just kill the guy if he's willing to launch nukes in order to protect himself from being, you know, and his. Yeah, you're right. It's crazy. It's bizarre.
I think we'll end up becoming a one world government at some point. I don't think it's anytime soon. I think it'll take a couple of hundred more years for that to work. But I think that's the best way for our species to flourish.
I mean, there's all kinds of reports that the Nordic aliens, which are the, you know, tall, blonde-haired, 6 to 8 foot tall, have been living here for years, right?
Maybe.
And the reports is that they live in small towns in Colorado.
Oh, damn.
Hey, Dad.
Taylor Swift.
That's interesting.
What? Yeah, she's tall. She's blonde.
Your daughter's on the mic. Your daughter's on the mic.
I'm also here. Hello.
Hi, baby.
Hey. What's up?
What are you doing? Where are you?
Well, I don't know. I got like called in here to like settle a dispute or something. Some sort.
What? By who?
TechProtect. You want to hop on the mic?
What dispute? We weren't even talking about you. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
I tried to call you a bunch of times yesterday to follow up on our conversation. Call me when the show's over. But yeah, what's going on?
Tech?
No, David, you wanted to know her thoughts on the shoving match.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I was,
think she's here.
Em and I were watching it. We were at the vet yesterday, and we were watching it on the phone. And Em had her theories about your response, and I said, I don't know. I haven't talked to her. What was your take on the whole thing?
It was short. It was I mean, it was like
We
a
are
a
short.
fight. That was actually the first time I've seen anyone fight in real life, like before
Okay.
my eyes. So I mean, interesting for sure. There's a rumor going around that I was crying in the cabin. I guess
The fuck?
Tech.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Well,
true.
Okay,
Yeah, I've
cool.
never heard that one.
Tech called me up and he was like, "Oh, they say you were crying in the cabin." All right, I was not crying in
Heck,
the
you
cabin.
are such a
I know
liar.
he's full of shit, bro. Anyway, listen,
Ugh.
listen. I was not crying in the cabin. I'm on like 15 milligrams of antidepressants. I cannot cry. So just like let's like.
And we also saw you paddling around in the goddamn with the tricycle in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just. I mean, it didn't seem like any of this bothered you at all. It was just like, oh, that's what they're doing, you know?
Yeah. I'm chilling. Do you want to give a statement?
So
Tech?
yeah, I mean, were you angry at Tech? Did you care, or were you just like, all right, I guess that's Tech doing his thing?
I mean, it's Tech being Tech, I suppose.
Does it make you, the fact that he lost, do you go, oh, I don't know about this guy as husband material? That's what people were asking.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Because we live in Redacted. We live in Redacted, but like a very nice part of SoCal. I don't think there will ever be like an instance where it's like, oh, Tech has to like pull up on a guy. Like it's like you see someone at the grocery store and they're like, "Good morning, how you're doing?" And that's like the extent of the interaction.
Yeah, but I think the good thing that happened is Nightmare said that, he was going to knock Tech out in front of you, right? And Tech, just because your name was mentioned, wanted to take it to the next level. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sign of a man that truly loves you and is going to try to protect you at all costs.
Here's the thing as well. Like what you know from that situation is no matter what scuffle you're in, he's going to be there, and it doesn't matter what happens. He's going to be there to try and defend you and help you. Right?
Yeah,
that is
sure.
husband material.
Yeah,
That is
absolutely.
respectable as fuck.
Yeah, it is. It is very respectable.
Yeah, if you're willing to do it in front of thousands of people, you're willing to do it in front of 8 people in a bar.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And,
Like if
and
it's-
even if Tech gets pushed down and he re-injures his back or whatever, that gives you a lot of time to run away from danger. So
plus you can
good
sue the
job,
fucker.
Tech.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
yeah,
okay, but you're,
Go ahead.
but no one thought you were crying, and no one was like, come settle a dispute. So,
Tech,
you
you
know,
liar, you liar.
yeah, Tech, come on, man. What is the deal?
Nah, I don't.
We got to get you into Liars Anonymous, Tech.
I don't think Sarah lost any respect for Tech at
No,
all.
I don't think so.
At all. I think that's blown out of
I
proportion.
think she should have more respect for him than ever before, to be honest with you. Like I said, that's a man that
There
will
you go.
ride and die for you. That's what you learned today. You know, you learned that you chose right by saying yes. That's my opinion on it.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Is he crying now, Sarah?
He's sobbing. He's like, yeah.
Oh.
You're such a
He's
dramatic
blowing. His snots are coming out of his
Yeah.
nose. Okay,
You guys
he's
are
dry
such
heaving a little bit.
you guys are
Got
fun.
it.
All right. Well, I love you.
Hey,
Pops.
Sarah-
Yeah. Go ahead.
I love you too, sweetheart. Let's talk right after the show because I want to make sure you got everything you need, okay?
Sure
Is
thing.
he singing an early 2000s song? He's saying something about my
Who?
neck, my back.
My pussy, I ain't my crack.
Well, okay. Oh, let me get some of these super chats. Sorry. Actually, if I can, I don't have OBS, so I'll do my best. Jaffe says, Twiggy, you were talking about the Anunnaki. Yes, the missing link of humans learn astrology and irrigation and more so fast in a short period. Right. The assumption that aliens came down and either bioengineered us from where we were, or they just gave us information that sparked a cognitive evolution boost. Absolutely. Smellix, thank you for the little, I don't know what I'm looking at. It's a little icon. It's very generous super chat. Thank you for that very much. We appreciate it. Slinky do. Are aliens in Iran? My guess is they're fucking everywhere if they're here, but I don't know if there's any evidence of that. Can y'all get a shaman to fat camp to sage the energy, says Megan. Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's very clear that we have some sort of alien race that is trying to at least maybe not protect us, but protect the Earth. You've seen all those new reports that, I mean, these stories have been out forever, but there's also new reports that UFOs hovered over our nuclear systems and shut them all down, right? This has been a story since the early 2000s that came out. I think it was literally right after 9/11 was the first time this story got released, and it was overshined by, the terrorist attacks and whatnot. But I just saw yesterday that somebody testified in front of Congress telling this story.
Really?
So, yeah.
I'm surprised, to be fair, that after 9/11 you guys didn't use nuclear weaponry, because like that was such like hitting home like that.
On
it's just
on what?
well,
The desert?
well,
I mean, what are you
that's
gonna
the thing,
hit?
right? Like dude, I don't fucking know the logistics
Well,
of it,
it
right? I'm a
wouldn't-
fucking retard, but like the way you hit home like that is like it's such a heartbreaking scenario, and it's something you wouldn't expect to happen like
It
that.
wouldn't make sense if we're over there trying to, control the Middle East, and control and not really destroy all the infrastructure that's already there, So I think that's kind of, we had troops protecting the poppy fields over there, right? The drug trade for some reason. And well, that was Afghanistan, but still.
It's really hard to know what went down with 9/11 and what the point was. There's so many inconsistencies that, is it something we knew was coming and we let happen? Is it something we did? Is it exactly the story they gave us? I don't think most people think the exact story they gave us is absolutely correct. I think there's too many weird holes, but I think you would have to know why it happened to determine why we responded the way we did. But look at what happened with Israel. Israel responded in a similar way with Palestine after October 7th, and they lost all the goodwill of the world because the response was disproportionate. And so I don't know if we could have handled that from a response standpoint. American citizens would have turned, but people say we are prepping for a false flag in America, so we do have a reason to do terrible things in Iran beyond what we're already doing, because then the public discourse will be like, fuck those guys up. So like I said, you don't know.
It's so bothersome at the time that we have access to the most information ever. It's the same time where we have the most deception and the most lying ever.
Right?
Like, bro, how do these two things coincide? Like, you feel like, at this day and age, like we're seeing behind the curtain, but like what's coming is nothing but manipulation and false flags and steer you this way and steer you that way. It's like,
it is the biggest like load of irony you could ever have. You have the technologists giving you all the information you could ever want, but then there's so much misinformation that's like carefully folded into it. You don't know what's like.
We haven't even really talked about the AI and the troubles that are coming with AI in the middle of aliens and World War III. And oh, good God.
Dude,
and then
AI's
the money you get, whether you're a big oligarch like an Elon Musk or you're just some guy with a blue check, making money off engagement farming on Twitter, that factors in. And then you've got some people turn on Twitter and the news for entertainment, and some people turn it on for news. And some people are just like, it's fun until it lands at your doorstep. So I cannot fathom how we don't end up blowing ourselves up.
I do think it's fascinating that more people will look to like Twitter or X now for reliable information than they do to like mainstream news media. That's kind of like terrifying. I mean, I don't look at mainstream news media. Like the BBC in the UK is so fucking corrupt. You know what I mean? Like their history is terrible. Like I would never ever look at them as a trusted news resource.
When I said we're dealing with so much propaganda and deception, the bro that survived said, "Is Keemstar describing what TechProtect has said about the fight yesterday?" That was a good joke.
That's a good one.
That was a good fucking joke.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially with the AI not knowing what's real anymore, and it's getting worse. Let's put it this way: if the aliens are real and they do give a shit about us, or the interdimensional beings, maybe it makes sense why we're seeing them a lot more, or we're heading towards some kind of disclosure, because we're just not equipped to handle this. We're just too unevolved.
How starstruck would you be if you met an alien? Like for real, because like here's the thing, right? What I find fascinating is if they are like have been coming down, I think all these movies and stuff, especially some where they like really depict like imagery of aliens and stuff, have really gone out their way to put an image in your head, and I think it's for the idea of like you just don't lose your fucking marbles when you see one. They do make reference to it in like comedy flicks and stuff as well, like Paul with the alien.
Yeah.
They literally make references to that as well. It's quite fascinating. World's End's another movie where they make references to aliens making trades with humans with technology. And in turn eventually doing like a form of a harvest where they're getting replaced slowly by like basically suits that are filling in and basically advancing their intellectual prowess and stuff by making them machines. Right, it's all really fascinating stuff that's like even hidden under the humor elements of like those type of movies. I always
they
ponder
call
that.
it slow disclosure, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of not evidence, but there's a lot of speculation that Spielberg was read in when he made Close Encounters. And there's been a number of people that are in that world of UFOs, the Greers and whatnot, and say that's the most accurate depiction so far. And then he's got his new movie coming out in June called Disclosure Day, which is basically about full disclosure given to the American people. So I don't know if I would be, I don't know. Here's what I'd say. I'd like to think my brain could handle it, but there was a moment, I talked about this the other day, but there was a moment the other night when I had 3 whammies back to back. I had an amazing experience with some AI during the day. And then I did a deep dive into this microchip that has human brain cells on it. And that
Where it was
we're
playing
now
Doom?
doing. What's that?
Where it was playing Doom?
Where it was playing Doom.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I looked into how that works, and it was like, this is insane to say that these things won't eventually, if not already, have some awareness of themselves. And it just started getting into this kind of like my worldview started to crack a little bit, and I had to take some deep breaths as I was going to bed because I was so freaked out by just the ramifications of all this stuff. So yeah, my guess is I'd like to think if an alien or an interdimensional being presented itself to me, I'd be, hey man, nice to meet you. I'm fascinated. I have so many questions. I don't really know if my brain could handle it.
I pray when
mean,
they're doing that stuff, like the brain cells that are playing Doom, that they are creating a biological machine and they are not creating a soul. All right. Creating souls, if that is possible, I don't like that. I really don't like that.
Well,
imagine if your experience.
Why not though? What's wrong with that?
Well, how do you create a soul,
whether you use
right?
the word soul or not, let's just take consciousness. If they realized, in 20 years, biological computing has gotten so advanced that unlike large language models that we can pretty much say are not conscious, we think these things may actually be conscious because they're built on biology and they're built on brain cells. Why would that be bad? Why don't you like that?
Man, what a bad roll of the dice coming back to the simulation and living in a petri dish. What a bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You feel for that person, that you feel for the biological entity in the petri dish.
My mindset is
you're trapped. You're a prisoner for however long you're alive.
Isn't that us? Aren't we that?
Yeah, but I don't feel trapped.
No.
Well, no, it might not either.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it depends, right? I don't know. See, now like you going into like details that we'll never truly understand unless it happens, right? But like just like
everything we've talked about so far,
like
we're never going to truly understand everything. We got aliens, we got AI, we got World War III, we got the Epstein files, and no one knows what the fucking truth is.
But what I'm saying is, if you were to create souls, what do you create those out of, right? I feel like there has to be a form of recycling in pursuit. You're not just recycling what you can potentially harness and then making something new out of it.
Well, the way they do it in this case is they have skin cells, and then they use stem cells to basically turn them into effective brain cells. So it must, it's from the skin of a person who donated it, or a scientist or something. I don't know. So maybe it's more, and maybe everyone has their own personal simulation and everyone's on their own individual chip, and that's what we are. I mean, I have no clue, but
we have more chances of doing it with machinery first before we even hit the biological step, because we still have very little understanding on it. Like medical science and stuff and biology has advanced so much in the last 20 years alone. In the last 5 years, it's been doing phenomenal. But like we haven't even hit like 10% of that, not even 5. But like on a mechanical scale of just getting a bunch of data and like using AI to basically create like what is like effectively a child that would have to learn new things, that's way more possible. I could see that happening in the next 50 years.
Yeah, but we're talking about consciousness, though. Right?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. The closest thing to creating
we don't
that,
understand what consciousness is, though. I don't think we're going to understand consciousness for quite some time. So I think we'll stumble on it with biological computing a lot faster than we'll create it, because how will you know what it is?
Well, this is what
we
I mean.
Can't even really define consciousness.
Doing that sort of experiment and recreating it on a mechanical scale is the closest we're going to get to discovering what it is, right? Because once you replicate it and you can see the data of how it responds, then you can be like, okay, well, what's different? But it'll be definitely on a computer scale before it's ever hitting biology, for sure, right? There's just no way.
I would say I don't agree with you, but there's no way to know. I mean,
we won't. I don't think any of us here will live to see that happen.
I think we'll live to see one of them happen. I do. I mean, we've already gone from the chips. Keemstar's talking about that play Doom, and there's the next phase, which is called organoids, and those chips that play Doom are basically on a flat. It's not 2-dimensional, but it may as well be. The receptors can reach out forward, backwards, left, and right, but the organoids are 3-dimensional stacked. So they have a vertical now. So then they can reach out left, right, forward, back, and now up and down. And so exponentially, their ability to process just in the last year has gotten crazy. And now they're also, they've engineered blood supply on the chip, because the problem is they've been having to flush the chips every X minutes with fluid, a certain kind of fluid to keep those cells alive.
Every time you talk about it, I'm getting Matrix vibes, right? Like, so like
you should be.
The thing in the Petri dish is actually us, and this is our simulation.
Yes. You can see, if you go to that video, it's called CL1. You can see the individual computers that each one has one of these chips, and they're all part of a server farm. There's visual in that video of all of these racks of CL1 computers, and each one of those is being powered at a CPU level by a biological microchip. And they're all living neighbor to neighbor in this giant server rack. So, yeah, I mean, this is why I was starting to crack up the other night, because this is not a book I'm reading. This is not sci-fi. This is happening. They are doing DMT tests on people right now in the Caribbean to try to commune through portals. This is happening. This is real science. This is not some, fantasy fringe shit. This is happening. And I'm trying to hang on with my fucking fingernails going, I don't know what life is anymore, but it's cool, man.
Can I just say that I really have a newfound respect for the Amish?
Yeah. For real though, like AI, the one thing I hate about AI is that it curbs your creativity, right?
No.
Do you not agree? Do you not think that it's more creative output in designing something yourself than letting AI do with a physical word prompt, with a written word prompt?
Well, it depends what your goal is.
Okay.
Like if I've used AI to write before, and if you're the conductor of the orchestra, to me, AI is another instrument. You're still the guy who's having to.
But the conductor doesn't play the instruments. Okay, the AI is the conductor. It's the trombone player, it's the bassist, it's everything.
The AI is not the conductor if you don't want it.
It quite literally is. Because you can use AI to make a prompt for you to put in another AI tool to make something for you.
If we all die in a couple years, is the Unabomber proven right?
I forget what his manifesto even was.
It was against technology.
Because my mindset is right. You look at for example, going to YouTube and how long people used to spend 5-10 minutes making a thumbnail, and it'd all be handmade. They'd make all the effects themselves. They use Photopea or whatever. Right now, it's literally a prompt. You put 2 images up. My God, make this for me, please. Done.
Does AI and robotics?
But ultimately, you have to ask yourself, what is the end goal? Right? You're doing that
Well,
Like when I use AI right now, I will use AI to help me express something better than I could express without AI. I use it as a tool to buttress up and improve my ability to express the creative ideas I have.
But what is the
I don't just
creativity though? If I have a photo of myself and I'm here and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, put me on an island. And it just puts me on an island like that. Whereas if I had to do it all manually, I would have to cut myself out from a rim.
What island?
Snake Island, motherfucker. Let's go.
Oh, thought you were talking about Epstein. Go ahead.
Hell no. What
Yeah.
the fuck off? If I was doing it manually though, I would have to cut around myself, smooth the edges, find something on Google Images that I would put myself in that's in the same quality or adjust that, then place myself in a way that looks good, adjust the lighting, etc. You don't have to do it anymore. So all the creativity that you've learned, the skills that you've learned, has been taken away by AI because now you're used to that.
But you've just used two words that are very different: skills and creativity.
Look, it's both, right? They go hand in hand.
Well, you need different skills now, but your creativity, your contribution now is, I want to put myself on the island. If there's something that comes along to make that easier and frees you up to do other creative things or think about while it's doing that, you know what I could do with this free time? I can make the show on the other end of that thumbnail more interesting, or I can now look at 20 versions AI made me and go, you know what's missing here is XYZ. I mean, if you abdicate your creativity, you're 100% right. But most people who are creative look at it and go, oh, this is just another tool to help me. It's like, I'm not going to stop being creative because I have new tools. I'm going to use that energy to be more creative.
That's
how I see it.
Star Trek had some like imaginary technology, things that were like similar to a cell phone, and then we created cell phones. Did the Terminator put us on a path
fucking
as
Jesus
humanity
Christ, that's dramatic.
for the current day? No, for real. Did the Terminator's movies put us on this path?
I mean, it's interesting.
Which path? The path of AI kind of fucking us?
And robots and yeah.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger
Maybe.
is still about, he's kicking.
So then
He's
if that's true, that, Hollywood played a part in this, maybe Hollywood is evil.
I mean, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe.
Or, I mean, there's a lot of other things I would suggest first,
to
which
be
is
fair,
like
Jaffe,
maybe. What's that?
I was gonna say as well, like you being a game developer, do you not find it like really fucking lazy and creatively like inept that you get some game companies are using AI now to remaster their old games and release it? Do you not think that's just like creatively void?
The remaster thing gets a little weird. Let's just, I don't know what you mean by remaster.
When they like
release it,
hype up the graphics and stuff like that, they've used AI. Didn't they use it for Oblivion, the Oblivion remake? They've used it for quite a few other games as well, like game developers.
I don't know if you're talking about DLSS 5, but let's just say a new game. Does your question work with a new game? Because the remake thing gets into a different.
Okay, well, fair. Would you have the same respect? You make God of War, right? Which is basically the giant identity in like the gaming industry. Would you have the same respect for someone who would also like either gotten the same level as you in like that gaming world, or even beat your game if they used AI to make it?
Yes.
You would have the same level of respect?
Yes. Not necessarily for the programmer, right? Or the guy who did the individual
but just the product itself.
Well, yeah, look at Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley has right? So what's the fucking point? Why learn an instrument if AI can do it for me? Why do anything? Why watch a TV series if AI can explain it to me?
You're right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying though. That's why I'm thinking
not
like
a bad thing. The difference is you see that as a bad thing.
It's not okay. Maybe I phrased it wrong. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think we need to use it a bit more carefully and not fully rely on it. I think if you're using it as a comfort food, that's a problem.
You have fallen into what I would consider a trap, although you might consider it a noble cause, which is fair. But to me, it's a trap of assuming that hard work and the more work you put in ultimately equates to value. That relates to value for the human doing the work. And I think there are going to be some soul searching moments that have to happen with AI. But I think in result product, if you are an artist or a creative, it feels to me, my experience is it feels like you're emotionally, mentally constipated and you just want to get this out of you. Mm-hmm. It's like a baby or something. And it's like anything that you can use to better and more efficiently express what you're trying to express frees you up to improve the expression or express other things or more things. So the idea that just because I didn't learn the tool as well to, smooth the edges in Photoshop, before Photoshop came along, people had to do that shit by hand.
Mm-hmm.
People had to have glass plates and put them stacked one in front of the other to create literal layers in order to create that, like movie credits. And if you ever looked at how they made Star Wars a long time ago with the scrolling text, that was physical scrolling text on a piece of glass that they were dragging, right? I mean, so ultimately now they don't have to do that. What do they get to do now? It's not like they're going to the beach. They're still creating. They're putting effort into other things.
The problems is, like, what do you need a script writer for if you can just use AI? Everyone can have an idea for a series they want to watch. No.
You use AI.
So what?
You use AI to make the process go faster, right? You use AI to lay out the script, and then you go and customize it and tweak it, because obviously a human is going to have a better creative spin on it than an actual robot.
Well, okay, so I waged this to you, Keem. You were upset about the process of, like, stuff with our borders being done because you found out it was being used through AI.
Yes.
So you had a different level of understanding. Now you're like, oh, I don't really respect that anymore because it's AI, right?
Of course.
So, like, you would, like, inherently think less of and therefore offer less, like, of a reward for that.
The deception is the problem, because the audience doesn't know what's AI anymore.
Okay.
I mean, they can sometimes. I didn't know the borders were made with AI, right?
No, that's fair.
So I was decepted. And obviously now that I know that it was just a couple, clicks.
So here's my thing, right? If it comes to a point where a script writer using AI is getting paid less than someone who doesn't use AI and actually puts the work in, what's to stop the fucking person from using AI just lying anyway, And then you're taking away from the people who are actually working
because
hard.
we're in a capitalist system. It doesn't matter.
They are
end of the day, end of the day, the borders worked. Nobody cares if they were AI.
No, of course.
Dude,
so
we went from...
if you write a script with AI or a book with AI and it's a good fucking book, people on the internet will raise hell for 5 minutes and move on to the next thing they're upset about. But if you write a good fucking book and a lot of it's written by AI, but it's entertaining, why are you reading a book to begin with? You're playing a video game. You have to separate the commerce from the art. If you as a person, an individual, find nobility and meaning in being the person that's sitting there getting your hands dirty, molding the literal statue, then of course there's value in that for you and maybe your audience. But that's not what sells.
Let me just say this.
Go ahead.
All right. I've been a content creator for 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Making thumbnails and creating, like, borders for your YouTube channel and banners and stuff like that for your social media, and working with an artist to create that stuff is probably one of the most annoying things that I've ever done in my YouTube career. Right? They take forever. It doesn't matter how many times you verbally explain to them what you want. They get it wrong. They have the wrong colors. They do something wrong, and it's a long, slow process, and you have to pay $100.
Mm-hmm.
These new AI tools where I want this and I want it to look like that, right, has just made life so much easier from my perspective. Now there's a whole different perspective where the artist that used to get paid so much, they're all out of business. Who the fuck is using that?
Well, that's what I mean, right? So it's like,
so what? I mean, that's taxi drivers. That's
one person wins, one person loses with this new technology, like it has been throughout all history.
But that's right. I don't mean it personally. Of course, I care about the individual, but we're not going to hold progress back.
My mindset's more on the creative element of things, not so much like the capitalist side of things. The creative element, right? If you get rid of script writers because you don't need them anymore, someone takes 3 months to write a script, AI can do it in like 72 hours, right? Put less time really if you're going to sit behind and write a couple more prompts. And then all it needs is like a little bit of a fine-tooth comb to look through, to tweak it up, right? You're going to pay someone probably a tenth, if not less, to make one of them. So yeah, you're saving money, that's good. All right, you're saving money, but that person is now using less of their creativity to make that happen.
Con, thank you so much for the 15. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris.
RIP.
Guys, there is a lot of orange, teal, blue, and yellow on the board.
I'm assuming, is Tech not here?
He's there.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not running OBS and I'm not logged into YouTube, so I don't have the fan funding thing, so I can't track this stuff.
And I'm looking at all of it right now, and I just want to see a shade of pink or red.
Yeah, I'd like to see a pink. Come on.
But yeah, if someone's running it, I would love to get all the super chats and acknowledge them. I can't. I don't have the record of them since I'm not
Tech,
logged
can
in.
you read through the ones we missed?
Let's speed run. Twiggy, $20. Jaffe, you're talking about the Anunnaki, the missing link of how humans learned astrology and irrigation, and more so fast in a short period. Thank you. PP Bravado, $5 says, Tech setting it up for a lawsuit now. He ain't letting it go. I cannot sue Keem. Nightmare, though. I'm joking. Panda Irwin, 10 euros. The world is on fire. The machines are taking over. Let's get fucked up and watch the world burn. Thank you. RP Lucker, $5 says, we are in the end times. Chuck Norris has passed away.
RIP.
I blame our fight. We killed Chuck Norris. Nightmare. It was us. They love them LLC. Subway Surfers and Family Guy's best moments while the AI voice reads me the summary for Infinite Jest. Smooth brain core.
Real quick, Tech, could you imagine Chuck Norris just happened to watch LolCow Live yesterday, and he's known for fighting. He's known for being this action hero, and he's seen you two guys pushing each other. I'm like, bro, I'm out of this fucking world. I'm done.
He would call us gay. He'd call us gay and slap us both in the back of the head. What the
I
fuck
lived
you guys
86 years on this life trying to teach someone something, and this is the next generation. I'm fucking out of here.
Nerevar,
all that he gave to the world, and I was even an extra in one of his movies. You would think I would have memories other than the only thing I really will remember Chuck Norris for is the 6th kid saying, Walker says I have AIDS. That is the absolute best clip in the of Chuck Norris, and I can't remember anything else.
No, that was in Texas.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Dyslexia.
Nerevar says, this needs to be the cast of Crypt. I've been hooked this whole time. Thank you for the $5. Con, RIP Chuck Norris, you got that? And then
read that.
Con again, 28 Canadian says, is today the day where pay pigs and crowns are showing up? If so, when?
Oh, God, yes, it is at noon in 1 hour.
Well, thanks for telling me, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah,
do you know what I had to find out from? Ghost told me. I was like, oh, cool. My boss didn't tell me, so thank you very much,
I'm sorry. I got a lot on my mind.
No, it's fair. It's been busy. Do you know what I do love, though?
Is going to be there?
There's about, it's under 10. I think it's 7 pay pigs and crowns are showing up today.
Say 6, 7.
Cool.
That's
fun.
6 or 7.
It's either
I'll
6,
be
7.
safe.
Yeah. Well, they've all, we did background checks on all of them.
All right.
6 Zozo for, what the fuck is that currency? SEK? Is that Swedish crown?
That is
100 of them.
remember.
The first AI came around 1955 to 1956, and now it's everywhere. Windows 12 will be all about AI, and I believe in Simpsons show.
Yeah, the Simpsons got some shit right there. They've got Skype
I think
down and stuff.
I think that's blown out of proportion.
There's a lot, to be fair. I think, I suppose when you do so many episodes and you look at future technology, you can only imagine what you're going to get, right? The ability to be able to see someone from a long distance via a screen.
I mean,
you can predict something like that happening.
They were worried about terrorist attacks on the Twin Towers forever, and there was one in the basement level, like years and years before. Yes. Yeah. So the fact that Simpsons covered that, oh well, Trump was asked to be president all through the early 90s and whatnot. Even on Oprah, he talked about potentially being president. So the fact that they predicted this in some idiocy fucking future world is it all comes from something. It's not a really out of nowhere predictions by the Simpsons.
I didn't know about the threats of 9/11 happening basically with the Twin Towers. I didn't realize that was such a huge thing.
We blew
Biggie
up Twin
Smalls.
Towers and Twisted Metal 3 times before the 9/11 happened.
And Biggie Smalls rapped about it.
Yeah,
blow up like the World Trade.
Really?
Jaffe predicted
9/11
if you did not know.
Was that it on the chats?
That's it. That's all the chat.
Why does your chat hate you so much, Tech? You're getting a lot of hate.
Well, I can tell you, it's been like this always, Keem. It's always been this way.
Really?
Yeah. What do you mean? The fucking the TechProtect on camera is the hated TechProtect. You see when I join
But
live,
on Crypt, like I understand some on Bus because you're like going into a world that's not yours, but this is your channel. Like,
yeah, usually
you
we're
birthed
at
this thing.
Usually we're at 400 viewers, and the audience is much more skewed in my favor. But
Yeah, usually
we're at-
these are people coming to watch I assume wanting to see Tech's response to getting his ass kicked.
we're 900 viewers in, so 500 of these people are coming in from other sources.
Is that why you're not showing your face? Are you embarrassed?
No, I'm just in pain, Keem.
But you can be in
I'm like
pain and
I'm
be
like
on camera.
wincing
You're
every
there.
time I turn to like look at a fucking different monitor.
Now, when you say you're in pain, do you think you need like medical attention, or is you just sore?
I just need to lay down for like 5 hours.
Okay. You shouldn't have done today's show today. You should have hit me up and said, "Hey, get someone to cover me," and you would have been covered.
Mm-hmm. I would have helped. I don't mind.
And I believe, and by the way, I'm gonna say this again because I believe him that he's in pain. I believe that,
Yeah, absolutely.
he's hurt.
At the end of the day, regardless for everything,
there's
we're
no
a fucking
doubt.
team. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we do. We look out for each other when one of us is unwell or not feeling great. So if you ever need any cover, like hit me up.
Yeah, I mean that's what the LCU is about.
For real.
Can I say this real quick before we go to you, Nightmare? Just a good example though about the AI thing.
Mhm.
The fact that we're on YouTube right now, and like the ability, the proof will always be in the pudding. It's not about the production value, right? It's about how you can connect with an audience through the work you do, and if the work that you do is able to be improved or sped up with AI, you're still only going to win if you're offering the audience something that has interest or heart or, that's why some YouTubers get all the big production value and the set and the lighting and all that, and they still can never make it.
Well,
right. Because it's not about that. And so I would just suggest that you're maybe confusing production value and, those things with what the audience actually values.
Thanks, Jaffe.
If a script is
Keem already took his headset off. LolCow
Emotional
needs
damage.
to go.
all right. Pleasure, Jaffe. Take care.
Thank
you
you for
guys.
tuning to LolCow Crip. We're sending over to LolCow Gay, where they like to play with things that go yay. All right, we're sending you over. Thank you, everybody.